Desk lamp. Good evening. Well, what can I say? I'm back at stats. Something went wonky. I don't know. I was trying to get over the last week. I had finally gotten things working. I thought I was getting to the point where I was going to move forward and start working in my UI, starting to build the league pages. But I was noticing I was missing key items, and I spoke about this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know. I was missing key items. I didn't have any offensive linemen in there, and I couldn't build a full team. But then I was noticing I put them in, and I was like, it was super slow. Like today, this morning I ran it, and it took like 2 hours or an hour and 50 minutes. And I was like, okay, that's not right. It shouldn't take that long. And the problem is that my imported stats are um, thing is I'm getting to that point where I'm like, I don't know if I want to use my imported stats anymore. I'm thinking I almost want to just try to pull them all from the Python library. But there's about 50 of them, and I'm not sure I want to do that right now. It's a big thing to go and pull all those stats. I've only, and some of them are aggregates, so I'd have to go in and it'd be a major change, and it would set me back probably a week or two to go make sure I get all those stats and get them right. And so I said, all right, well, let's continue trying to get it to maps. But what I'm going to do to try to speed things up is have it get the data from the Python library and pull in my base data, which is basically this stuff. This is what it pulls in first, right? And once it pulls this data in, it's got the base data. It's got who it's drafted by, games played, who the team they're on, the year, all the key elements. But then I have to have this mapping piece, right? So I need to map these records to those records so that it can pull these stats in, because you see I have all these stats. They're already loaded. They're all set up. I have the get stat function, which is going to read and try to make the match and then pull data in. But needless to say, that has not been working. And so I had to step back, get back in the code, walk through it, clean up junk. I got rid of things that weren't, they were. I'm working with AI, so obviously I find myself cleaning up after AI on a regular basis. So I was doing a little restructuring, still working with AI because it knows the Python libraries a little better than I do. Although I'm getting more familiar because I've built some reads that help me find those fields. But rest assured, it's proving to be a bit of a pain in the backside. You could kind of, what's going on is I'm running the stats collector, in which builds all the skills and everything for all my players. But if it can't put the data into the player stats collection, it can't read them for the skills. So the skills are all coming out screwed up. So I find myself having to rebuild it. I keep trying to rebuild it and try to get it right. And so there's been some reprogramming, both by me and AI, in an attempt to clean that up. So you see here, we're supposed to be mapping. Right here, we're supposed to be mapping to this. So at this point, I'm supposed to be able to go in to my player stats and see if I fixed it. Now let's see if this last change did anything. Because like I showed you here, there is no stats data ID. There should be a stats data ID here. Okay. So if I go player stats ID, player stats data, yeah. So if I go like this, and now Champ Bailey is the one I was using as an example. So this one should go get Champ Bailey. And maybe. Or not. So obviously it didn't work. All right, let's try that again. Maybe I need to. Let's try that again. So there should be. Nope, didn't work. Still no stats data ID. So, yeah, whatever fix it thinks it's going to do. Where is players? Oh. Well. Nope. Champ Bailey did not get mapped still, as I am not seeing player or the stats data ID. Stats data ID from the player stats data collection. Getting inserted to the So yeah, no está bien. Did not work. It does have stats data ID here, but still not mapping it correctly. Oops. Nada, no, nothing. So this is Hunter Smith, but if I go stats data here, it's supposed to match these players, and it's just not able to do it for whatever reason. Player, oh, stats data. So you see this value. I'm expecting this to get mapped, and that is not getting in there. So it's not getting correctly placed into the right table. And so you see a fair amount of stats here. Now, I don't need all these stats. I need the stats that are pulled from stats data, or from GetStat. GetStat only pulls the stats that are actually used. But as you see, not one of these is getting any stats. They're not getting any maps. They're not getting stats data. They're not getting no mapping. The whole thing is totally not doing what it's supposed to. So I don't know what it's doing. Stats for a given year. Finds matching player stats data by name year. And set stats data ID on the player stats doc. Then I'll wire it into the create system player flow and rebuild. It's trying it again. It's basically what it's saying. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back. Hug. You know the old saying, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's what I feel like right now. I feel like I'm going 1 step, 1 step, 1 step, thinking I was ready to go because I was building my teams, but then I was like, but I'm missing offensive linemen. I don't actually have full team, so I can't actually run the demo, even if or the game at all. I can't run it without a full team of players because I have it designed to set up full teams of players on the formations, and without players, I can't fill the page. So it won't do me any good. I mean, I could have it set up to do the thing and show you the team, and I guess that's the thing. Right, but I won't be able to go to the next step, which is quick sim. I've only got, well, okay. I don't like giving artificial dates. I just feel like I'm close-ish, but I could be very wrong on how close-ish I am to a very generic game state, actual game running UI game state. And yeah, I got a lot to do and get a lot of animation in there and that stuff, and I'll do that. But we're still having some significant issues on getting this to run correctly. So let's see if the build works. It's gonna run the build. If the build is good, I can go run my terminal. It's gonna try to run it too, but I don't like to let it run it. I don't know why. It's not, I guess I could try. I don't know if it actually doesn't do anything because it's not putting up any logs that say, hey, things are working. So, I mean, it puts up logs, but it doesn't really give itself any information to say, hey, this is what's working. But you see here, I got, first, the way this rebuild works is it clears out all the data in those tables. So I'm getting rid of all my stats data, my player pool, everything's just getting dumped. And then I have my source data, which is this player stats data collection. And I'm supposed to fill this up. So when it says refreshing, this is the part where it's actually going out to Python, NFL library, and it pulls in data. So that's where it gets 1993 people, 1993 players. It does a little data massaging because the teams are kind of wonky. And then it goes in here and says, oh, all right, well, let's go ahead and load some stats from our stats data, which is the control modifiers. This is actually just control modifiers table, but it's loading them up so they can use them in an object. And then it says create the 32 team stats, which is down here, which pretty much works as far as I know every time. Stats right there. And then it's going to go fetch team player stats. Now this is where it's supposed to be mapping the records, getting them all connected to each other. And now we're processing skills. Now the skills can't work unless this is matching. So unless player stats actually does what it's supposed to, which is for me to go in here and see these guys, Champ Bailey, unless I can see stats data, hey look, stats data's there. Okay, so now it's mapped. Now assuming getStat is using this ID like it's supposed to, it should be able to put in stats for these guys. But we're on 500, so my thought is it's still not working. I'll tell you why, because if it was working, I think that would have, we gotta go to here. So now if I go here, reload that. Oh. Let's just take this way over here. AI doesn't, oh, by the way, if you're ever wondering if the instructions that you give it actually work, they don't always. I told it never to use snake case for naming files. Okay, it's not true. I told it never to use snake case, but I did tell it to make one snake case, which is probably, I mean, I guess it's not nice, right? Tell AI don't do it, but then tell it to do it. And it's like, but you said. Nope, no stats. Okay, so somehow I think we need to, I'm sure this ran, so I'm pretty sure this thing. It's probably done by now. Yeah, it's finished. Well, no, it's not finished. But it's not going to work because it's not reading. There's no data. Okay. Now, let's see if this is right. This is 936. Let's go see if it actually mapped the right record. We'll look at player stats data. It should be 936. Hello. Did I not click it? Thought I did. Yeah, okay, so we're good. It's 936. So that one is 936, and it mapped. So we mapped okay. But we're not getting the appropriate player stats data. Is that still running? It is running kind of slow, but it's not as slow as it was. Okay, so we correctly mapped the data, but stats are not loading. Get stat function uncalled should be ideally, I'm trying to optimize this quite a bit. I wanted to make the first pass. If we do a rebuild, get stat function one called should be copying the stat. Copying the stat from player stats data to the player stats. So we are correctly mapping the stat data ID now, but stats are not loading. Get stat function one call should be copying the stat from player stats data to the player stats collection using the stat data ID. We'll give it one more shot. Player stats. Make sure it didn't do it while I wasn't looking. I don't think it did, but not going to be my fault for not looking. Nope. Okay, so we correctly mapped the stats data ID now, but stats are not loading. Get stat function one called should be copying the stat from player stats data to the player stats collection using the player stat ID for that player during a rebuild. That is not happening. Okay, so I have a couple of special commands on my function. One of them is where's it at? Oh, here we go. So we got rebuild and its scaling and the year. So all my data is 2009, so I'm doing the year 2009. I do eventually, I hope to, basically bypass this whole bit. So this is me putting a lot of work into something that eventually I hope I'm not doing. When I first started creating it, it was because I thought I was going to do spreadsheets. I was going to load data into spreadsheets, and then I was setting up a system to import data into spreadsheets. And then I started learning more and more and more and more. I mean, I knew of it, but I didn't know anything about it, how it was going to be. The Python NFL library, and I started to look at it thinking, you know what? I think most, if not all, my stats exist already that I need in the NFL Python library. So if I could start building each of these individual stats, but AI is not great at interpreting all the field names because the Python library uses some really weird names. I can figure them out because I know what they are. I mean, it can take guesses, but it really doesn't know. I mean, sometimes it knows ATT is attempt, but sometimes it doesn't know what like FF is, which is, I think, forced fumble. I don't think it knows that, but there's a number of things like that where there's just weird, very short acronyms that in context a human can figure out, but the AI is like, I don't know. So you got to tell it, these are the fields I want, we got to add these together, and we got to pull this stat into the system. And then I got to map them, right? So one of the nice things, though, if I pull it out of the Python library, I actually have each user, each player has an ID. So really, all I should, in general, need to do is map the player ID, which I believe this is the Python ID from. Oh man, so did it change? Oh well, now it's using source player ID and player ID. It's doing source player ID and I don't know. It must have done something to use them both. I don't know why it needs both. It doesn't need both. I don't know why it added both of them in there. I don't know what it's doing. See, what does it say here? Doing a build of some kind. What did it do? It doesn't even say really what it did. It just built. We go again. I gotta wait for it to do the NFL import, or I mean not the NFL import, but the mapping part. So it does the mapping, and then it fails to put the stat in, which is problematic because it can't build the skills without the stat. I think I may have to come up with a special. I may have to write functions for every stat. And like I said, I think it's about 50 stats. And I think I need to do them each individually, only because as separate functions. Because I think trying to do them all as a bulk is just going to make things terrible. I may have to just create like a Python function script for like offensive stats, defensive stats, special team stats, and then or maybe even one for general stats. Because general stats are like what did I have in there? Conditioning. There's only like 3 or 4 of them that I have that are base stats. Big play potential, which is actually, it's not general so much as everybody, as in it they're calculated different for every position or for multiple positions. So I have to assemble all those, but it's gonna be kind of a time effort. Now putting it together will make my life easier because that means I'll no longer have to bother with this Excel import thing, which in itself is nice, right? I can actually go and just say, all right, well, let's get one stat. Hey, did it work? Let's get 2 stats. Just slowly start adding them all in. And then I can actually do it for any year. And if I want to put in my 15 years of data, I can. I won't do it right away because it would be silly. But because I just keep refreshing it. I'd have to go through every year. What I'll have to do is have some kind of a bulk import thing that can run, and then have it process and build all of my player pool data at each environment. So I have to have it set up so it can run at every environment, because I wanted to when I deploy it to production to be used I want it to be able to have, you know, build all the player profile, all the players, all 15 years that I'm doing. I may even try to get like see what happens if I go back 2008, 2007, 2006. Why not? Why not try to get the full 25 years? That'd be cool if I get all of it. Then I'll have boatloads of players to use for the game, and then I'll just keep adding more. But we'll see how it goes. Hey Karama, how you doing? Puppy dog. Ooh. Alrighty. Did it work? Is it doing what it's supposed to this time, or are we still kind of? Are we still a mess? Are we gonna ever let me get this? All right, Mr. Champ Bailey, what you got for me? Nope, no stats. We do have the link. Okay, so it's really struggling to get these stats. I don't know why. I had it all working at one time, and something broke. It's kind of silly that I have both player source data and stats data. I told it to use stats data, but all of a sudden it started putting in source data. Doesn't matter. It's mapped. It connects. Either one of them will connect it to the root data that I'm trying to get it to work with, but this is not working. I am pretty sure that getStat is failing to find or update file is add a log to getStat that when it tries to update the records logs a failure to find record because right now the log message should be something like fail to add stat value to player stats collection. Stats data ID see if I can get it to getStat is the function that all of my skills are running to try to get the stat. It goes and gets the stat from my source. Because, yeah, this is totally not working. I don't even know why it's doing source player ID. I never told it to use source player ID. All right, let's build this puppy. Now we're going to get a million errors because it's obviously not going to work. It's just going to go brrr. I'll have to control break it, see what's going on. Because I don't want to watch it do 1900 lines of I can't find. It's more than 1900 because it'd be like every stat that tries to call anything's going to fail. Come on, build it. All right, there we go. All right. right, so now we're going to go to here. I'm going to run it. Here it comes. Should be, whoa, that didn't do anything. Wow. Did it totally kill my, whatever it did, it totally broke. What just happened? Existing, what the heck? It added a bunch of logs for that stuff. Existing team IDs in database. I don't know why it's doing team ones. I don't know what it's doing that for, but I don't know what that was all about. What the heck? Should I do that again? If that does it again, I think it broke something in my, I don't know if that was so weird. What did it do? Did you change the way it connects to the database? That is totally out of scope and not out of iOS. Yeah, I don't know what the heck it did there. It just totally broke something. Let's go see what nonsense it did. I can go look at this. I changed 12 files. I don't know why. This is your pasted as a gRPC. Could be made because the target machine active. What? But I'm not. This doesn't even use the gRPC. Except to connect to the database. Well, even then, I don't even think. Okay, but what is it failing? Create system players should not be using the gRPC. So did my thing go bonkers? Let's go refresh this. Oops. All right, initializing admin users. What is it initializing? What is it? Oh! What the heck, man? I'm on the wrong thing. Sorry, my bad. I was running the function in the wrong service. I don't even need this. Let's close this guy. Doesn't mean things work. All right, so we're back to trying to run this in the right place. At least it's not blowing up for the dumb reasons. All right, so we'll go back to game stats. And now I expect, so let's see, go click on champ. Still no stats. Still not getting any stats for champ. But it is successfully mapping, but we're not getting. I would have thought we'd get a nicer we're moving a little quicker. It does take a moment to go through 500 records. But I think after this first round, everybody should exist stats. After running get stat, I don't know why I am not getting any errors, since as you can see in this record for champ Bailey, 0 stats were loaded. So if get stat is logging the error, I should see some. Huh. There's got to be a way to do this in a more efficient manner. I don't know why. I mean, I have a function called getStat that its sole purpose is to get the stat out of getStats data and then copy it to player stats. That's all it does. Takes that stat and pulls it in for the purposes of the skill generation, and then it copies it into player stats. Then now I'm just thinking through. Then it's going through and it's building it's supposed to be able to log it if it's having problems. But you can see it's not doing what it's supposed to. So now it's doing skill ratings, which don't work. None of this stuff works because, I mean, it says it's setting them, but they're all messed up. It's fine if it was working, but they're all messed up. None of them work. So if we don't get stats into these records, they're never working. So I'm picking people who I know should have stats, but none of them have them. Huh. I don't know why it's having such a problem with it. I'm imagining player pools in here, but it's probably all messed up. It's been showing nothing but 99s when I do it, which of course is wrong. All these 99s. That's from screwed up stats. What's with you? What's been going on with you, Chrome? I know it's been a little while since we chatted last. I haven't been on as much because I've been trying to fix this problem for the last several days, and I don't want to keep streaming the same thing. But sometimes I just feel like getting on and giving a quick update if I'm not doing something different. feel like I'm putting a lot of time into doing this, and I may just it's like it's effort that's it's like if I can get a fix, it's a much shorter road to doing my next piece, which is the UI. But it's also a throwaway piece because I'm not going to continue using spreadsheet data. I'm going to eventually just go get my data, which means I need to actually build the Python stuff, which right now is me loading up, like you see here, this is Python data. And I need to go and get my other stats, which is this thing's supposed to be getting loaded in there. But it's totally not working. I do not know why. I'm going to try it again. I don't think it's going to do anything. I don't understand why it's... let's go look at get player stats here. Okay, so there's the function here is get stat. I think the one I'm looking for. So it's this guy. I go here, go to implementation or definition. Okay, definition. So here's get stat. And you can see that although it's supposed to be logging crap, no value found after populate. Log for diagnostics. Get stat. No flat value after populate for player ID year field. Why are you mapping?
We still have Hulu or Disney Plus.
We should.
Can you message me the password quick? Password sauce again. You just sent it to me on Discord if you have it.
Well, I gotta find it.
Oh.
Huh? Oh yeah, they don't have it. They took the password manager out of Authenticator. Dang it. Boo. Ugh. Hold on, I gotta find something here. I actually don't know which one it is. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I actually don't know which one of these is. All right, back to it. Yeah, this is not working. Don't know why. Is GetStat not being called? Because this is a problem. GetStat retrieves the stat value by naming and abstracting underlying data value. Rebuild mode always reads source raw and upsert directly. Persists 0 included. Always read. No flat value after populate. Player ID. Are you mapping the correct value? This log says it is trying player ID, not player, or not stats data ID, or what's the other one? Source player ID. Source player ID. Source player ID. Player ID won't match anything. That is only from Python library and does not exist in the player stats data collection. This log. Plus, I don't see any action happening at all. It's not logging, it's not doing anything. I mean, honestly, there's like, it's almost like nothing's happening. Like this isn't even this isn't even occurring. 0 chance of matching to the player stats collection if the stats data ID does not exist. I know this is tedious, huh? watching me troubleshoot this. It's just I know. I can see that something here is wrong. I have a feeling that something's going on here because it's not even going in this. I don't know. Plus, I am seeing 0 logging happening from the get stat. Ow, 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 ow. Got a nerve jumping through my arm. Ow. Hey, it's sore. I went bowling Friday for the first time in a few years, actually. And how far the mighty have fallen. I used to carry a 207 average in bowling, and for a lot of years I was actually working towards trying to go pro, and I pushed my average up pretty high. It might have been 206 or something, but it was in that range. And it was rare. It was a rare beast that I would ever bowl underneath 150. I mean, it would take a pretty bad miracle for me to bowl less than 150. It was just easy to bowl. Even a bad game was 150s. And I bowled in a number of tournaments and struggled on some of them because I just never really got to the point where I could actually go pro. Because to go pro, you need to have an average, consistent average of around 220 at least. I mean, it got to the point. I mean, I watched professional bowlers and they would just be striking all the time, constant. I mean, it was consistency out the wazoo. I mean, half their games were always strikes. You know, half of each of their games were strikes. I went and bowled the other day with my parents and my wife and I, and my wife actually beat me in the second game. She hasn't bowled in like an extra 5 years after that. I bowled 166 in a game. I bowled a 113. And she bowled a 159, and I bowled a 140 something in the last game. I mean, I had the higher average on the day because I didn't have any games under 100, whereas all three of them did. And everybody kind of got better as the day went on. Mostly. I think I was the only one who really fell off. I went from 166 to 140 something in the third game. But my wife went from like 105 to 159. I was like, holy moly, she really found it. That was higher than she bowled when we used to bowl in a league together. She never bowled that high. Well, I won't say never, but she never averaged to that high. She hit those scores. She bowled enough to have some good days. I think her average was 125, 130 something. I mean, so, you know, she peaked too. But still, it was fun. We had a good time. And I was like, I'm wondering if my arm's going to be sore. But yesterday it wasn't really sore. You know, I was like, huh. I work out a fair amount, so it's not like my arms don't do anything. But I just noticed now that it's a little sore. Not a ton, but I'm feeling it slightly. Of course, it's hard to tell anymore because I've been having some elbow issues. It didn't hurt when I bowled, which is nice, but it still kind of caused me some problems when I was. It's just always kind of poofy. Yeah, I know. Jumping the track again. Let's get back to it. Plus, I am seeing 0 logging happening from the get stat. I'm tempted to just add. Let's see if we're even getting in here. Format dot print line get stat running. We'll just do that. I just got to see this thing actually fire to show me that we're actually getting in here, because I feel like something's happening. It's like it's not even running. Now I should see a bunch of errors, in fact, or a bunch of these logs. Like every single time it goes into this function, it should be doing this. Now once it does it, I'll probably have to Control C, because it'll do it like 2,000 times, maybe more if it runs for each one. But this will at least tell me it's stepping in this far, because can't populate the flat stats if we're not actually getting there. And if I don't see this error message popping up 1,000 times, oh, there it goes. All right. I get it. You see it. All right, so it did go in there. In rebuild mode, compute from source collection, player stats data, and persist into flat collection. All right, so we're going to take this. And we should be then going in here. And we're going to go ahead and comma ps dot player ID. I want to see what this is. I don't even see where, if this isn't the stat ID, it should be player stat ID. And if that's not, I don't even know what is yeah, I think we're missing. I think we're missing the right values. I don't think we're getting in here. Let's see what happens. Drum roll, please. All right, gonna do our thing. We're clearing out the data. Here it comes. Where is it? It's supposed to start. Sheesh. Oh, that ran right off the screen. Nope. That's what I thought. Line 519 is never getting hit. For whatever reason. This is why flat data collection is not getting set. So I don't know what's failing though. Is it the player ID? Which one's empty? All right, so that totally exploded. Doing nothing. We're not populating our stats because this, for whatever reason, is not even functioning. I don't know if PS Store is empty, if CTX is empty. One of these is empty. I gotta. Yeah, I don't know. I still want to. Let's go back out here. We still have to put this in, but I need to see what kind of. Let's put player ID and PS player ID and PS year ID. Is what else is in player? For source stats. I don't know what he's using for player ID, but I bet you it's the wrong data too. Format dot print line. Yes, player ID. Wait, didn't I do that before? Is it not showing PS player ID? There is no PS player ID? Store. Or not store, year. I can't kill it. Usually I could just hit Control C and it'll kill it, but oh, there it goes. Let's do this. Ugh. It's kind of funny. It's making changes, but it's not making changes to any of the lines that are going to be the problem. It's doing nothing to fix the problem. I could tell because it's doing it all below. It keeps making changes down here. And I'm like, why are you making changes down here? That is not where the problem is. So let's see. Player ID and year. I bet you, let's see what they have in them. It's going to make me Control C it again, but at least I can... Come on. Hurry up. Let me cash out here. All right, so we do have player IDs, and those are the wrong player IDs. Yeah, that's not what we need. I think you are barking up the wrong tree. How is the get stat going to match the player stat record without a valid stat data ID? 519 gate. Gate tests player ID, which is not going to work for matching players. Plus, for some reason, here is no longer loading. So not only are we missing the link data ID, but we are not even getting a valid year. Also, since a rebuild is always linking with the player's stat data ID, I am not sure what all the other gate blocks are for. And 519 should just be checking to see if we have a valid stat data ID. If not, then we cannot link to this player stat collection document. Alrighty, well guys, I think that's it for me today. I gotta hit the hay, start a new day tomorrow. Maybe I just throw in the towel and go build my stats up one by one. I'm really kind of dreading it because it's going to be a big step. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that I didn't want to do it now. It's just like I was so excited to go start doing some UI work and start building the other front end. I said I could come back and do that later as a tweak for later. But ultimately, I feel like I may not have an option here. So here in my skills, player skills, I have Python stats right here. So this Python bunch of stuff is me trying to get my general data. So test, read NFL stats fetcher. I guess this is the one. So this is going out and getting various values for me for game stats from participation. It's doing a bunch of stuff. So what I'll probably have to do is like, I believe there's a function over here. It's Control F, import NFL general. Import. It isn't imported. Oh no, it's full. All right, so this is the one that it's calling, and then this guy calls Python stats. Yeah, NFL stats fetcher. So that's general data, and I don't know, NFL stats. I should probably change its name to general stats. NFL general stats fetch, or fetch NFL general stats. It's actually probably more like fetch general player stats. That's what I should probably call it. In fact, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it. Fetch general player stats, and then we're gonna go back over here, and we're gonna go into the into the stats. I mean, it is NFL, but I don't care. I don't want it to. Rename. All right. And then I have to do one like, I'm going to have to do like fetch. Let's do a new one. We're going to go new file. We'll call this one fetch. Offensive stats. Offensive stats. What is the term? Not general stats, player general info. Let's call that one. Fetch general. Let's rename this again. Rename. Fetch player general info. I don't want to call it general stats because they're not stats. These aren't stats. This is just who the player is. And we're going to rename this too. Import NFL. No, import player info. I will put this on. I just want to know that it's coming from Python. That's all. I have built. I wanted to know it's coming from Python. That should be fine. And then I have just tomorrow. I guess I start building stats. I'm gonna do another one here. We're going to call this one defensive stats. It's going to be a lot like my other, oops. Like I have fetch offensive stats, fetch defensive stats. Oh wait, no. All right, and then there's a lot of them, and I may have to have one for every individual item. It's probably better to try to get them all at once, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Get as many of them, all the base ones that I can all at once would probably be a lot more effective than trying to pull them one at a time, because that's slow, right? So we'll have to see if I can find them. Aggregate ones may take a little bit more effort, but we'll have to see how it goes.